Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of The Gavel, featuring attorney Ana Toledo. Ms. Toledo is the senior attorney and general counsel to Targeted Justice. She has a background in constitutional and environmental law and is an experienced litigator, including 2 cases at the U.S. Supreme Court. And here's Ms. Toledo.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here for this episode 27 of The Gavel. Today, it's a particularly good episode because the criminals interfered with the camera, and thank God that I have this other phone to be able to do the gavel for you all, for which I have worked so hard. I'm able to do it. So let's just hope. Before anything, before I introduce myself, before I do anything, I think it is warranted that I read what I chose today from the Bible verse I chose today, which was from John chapter 14, that it says, "Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me." This is Jesus talking to the disciples. "My Father's house has many rooms. If that were not so, would I have told you that I'm going there to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, that you may also be where I am. You know the way to the place where I am going." And what Thomas says to him, "Lord, we do not know where you're going, so how can we know the way?" And Jesus answered, "I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you really know me, you will know my Father as well. From now on, you do know him and have seen him." And for those of us that when we look back, we only see the glory of God trailing, going in front and behind us. That's what I have told everybody all the time. I insist, if it is not with God, this cannot be survived. And the best part of it is that we have gone through so much that the day that Jesus shows up, I know we're all getting in there with him. So, it's a win-win situation. And that is the way we have to see this. And I'm going to go into that a little later. But so now let me just do the welcome and just God, please cover this little place where people come because we are freedom warriors and because we want to improve the conditions for all of humanity, not just for this community that has been victims of this horrible program. So welcome to this episode 27 of The Gavel, a podcast focused on bringing to you the latest relevant news to the de-weaponization of the government against those victims that didn't ask to be there. A gavel, as you know, is traditionally used to bring attention to someone who is going to speak. And that is why I call this podcast a gavel, because I want to bring to your attention things that are happening. Sometimes we are in such despair because the attacks have become brutal. I know it. We all know it, that they have increased. But that is why I want to come to you every week, because I think that they are indicative of what we don't see that is happening behind the stage. And yet what comes out is really good too. So I'm going to, hi Niels. I am, as many of you know, I'm a Puerto Rican attorney. I have had more than 30 years experience. My expertise is in First Amendment civil rights, and my heart is in the environmental law, because I wanted to protect the frail environment of my island. And that's how I ended up being a victim of government weaponization, just like you. So our goal is to expose and shut down this horrific program, 70 years in the making. Do not think it started in 2004. This has been prepared, concocted, perfected in the past 70 years. So my goal is to expose it and shut it down. I have set a goal of 6 months, but maybe it'll take longer for me to be here. So I come to you, as many of you know, from Washington, D.C., where I have relocated to become Analog Anna, the one that cannot be ignored, the one that shows up, knocks on the door if they don't answer the calls, if they don't answer the emails. And that is precisely what I'm doing, and I'm going to tell you about it. So stay until the end after I give you the news, because I want to give you the experience that I had this week. So before covering this week's news, relevant news to our quest for freedom, I want to bring to your attention that the Dominic's, please share, like, and subscribe. This is important. I forget to promote myself, but I need to do it because it doesn't cost you anything, and it might end up, your repost might end up in the screen of that person that we need to see. So please repost and share this and subscribe to our Rumble channel that we really need. YouTube's Rumble. Okay, so first of all, is somebody shared with me this, and I wanted to make you laugh a little bit too. This is a J6er that put this meme saying my FBI agent when I unlock my phone in the morning. That's probably, it says, so the nightmare begins again. Yeah, they must be so bored because we're not criminals. So, God knows how they have to spend the entire day justifying it to themselves. And so I thought that was hilarious. I wanted to share it with you. Now, a Dominic's documentary has been translated to many languages by our wonderful um, Sean volunteer. See, Sean is one of those people that he just doesn't sit down and wait for the program to end. No. Every day he is a digital warrior, and he's a digital creator, and every day he's becoming better and better at what he does. And so he has been doing the translation to Spanish, Chinese, Korean, French, Japanese, Hindi, and Arabic. Okay. It's in my Mira. You can look all of them. I posted them in this week's meetup. Now, I have to ask you, what did you do today to shut down this program? What did you do today? Well, I'm going to give you an idea. You can take any of these translations and send them to somebody you know, or that is a Chinese TI, a Korean TI, and tell them to share it. Or you can share it with your minister, and in so doing, this is the narrative. I would say, you are here, to rescue sheep and also to help the members of your community and of your church. And I know that sometimes people might come to you with these quagmires and these problems that you might not understand where they're coming from. Well, here is a tool for you to understand what is happening to these victims. And so that way, because the key to shutting down this criminal program is exposure. Like the lighthouse taught me, once it's no longer covert, it can no longer happen. So for you, it doesn't cost you anything. Doesn't cost you anything. Maybe you can burn it into a disc and bring it to your priest, to your um, minister, to your pastor, except for Minister Jerome, who is enlightened and he knows everything about this program, and he herds his sheep in the right way. Anyway, so I said that. Let's go into the news. I'm going to show you a video that came out today, which the question is, what is this about, right? Because when I saw it, I said, wait a minute, these people, they don't They seem to be deep state, right? Because there's a former CIA and a former intelligence person. But you be the judge. Let me play it for you, and then I'm going to suggest what we can do with this.
Intelligence officer,
former Air Force,
We want to speak directly to members of the military
and the intelligence community
who take risks each day
to keep Americans safe.
We know you are under enormous stress and pressure right now.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk.
This administration is pitting our uniformed military
And intelligence community professionals
against American citizens.
like us. You all swore an oath.
to protect and defend this Constitution.
And right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad.
But from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law.
Or our Constitution.
We know this is hard.
And that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
In the Army,
Our Navy,
The Air Force.
Your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws.
our Constitution,
And who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
Wow. Doesn't that seem to have been written for us? Excuse me. So let's hold them to their words. My idea is, if you are a constituent of Elisa Slotkin, Michigan 7th District, Mark Kelly from Arizona, Chris DeLucio, Pennsylvania 17th District, Maggie Goodlander, New Hampshire 2nd, Christy Houlihan, Pennsylvania 6th. She's a former Air Force. She is one that you would want to write about the women at the Space Force. And Jason Crow, 6 of Colorado, where all the criminals from beginning to end are. The CIA in the Denver airport that live in Aurora, the Space Force in Colorado Springs, and other criminals that are sprinkled throughout the state of Colorado. Let's hold them to their word. If you are a constituent of any of these people, I urge you to write to them and say, Ana Toledo is ready to meet with you tomorrow, because you have to hold to their oath of office people, members of the military and the CIA, that are betraying their oath of office and are committing crimes against humanity. Hold them to their word. Write to them and tell them about the torture and crimes that are being perpetrated by these criminals. Okay, so I know that Andy Biggs today, whom I support and I follow because he's a great defender of our privacy rights and an opposer. He has consistently opposed FISA Section 702. Today, he was really offended by this video because I really don't know, and maybe somebody can let me know what is behind this video. But I replied to Mr. Biggs very respectfully, and I said, what if they are asking them to denounce their crimes against humanity that are being carried out under orders of generals and government criminals? So, because I know he's an honest man, and I would want him to be against everything that they're doing to us, right? So that they put it in a silver platter for those constituents of those people that I read, for you to write to them and say, I can tell you how they are violating the law and how you need to investigate. You have to ask for them to ask for investigations. And please, 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 again, don't make it about yourself, because that's when you lose credibility. Make it about an entire community of more than 300,000 Americans and people, civilians, innocent civilians abroad, that are victims of government weaponization. Now, the next thing I wanted to bring you is that Rand Paul is sounding the alarm, and he has a really good proposed, let me show you this, a proposed Fourth Amendment Restoration and Protection Act. He wrote an opinion article in the New York Post, and he explains the following: how, what a blessing, in this in disguise, that this idiot here, deep state idiot, spied upon the members of Congress and Senate. Why? Because then they would not be so like horrified about the abuses. So the story of government's abuse of search and seizure power, this is Rand Paul, I'm reading from his article, is long. And in the modern era, it largely begins with litigation concerning the privacy of one's phone. Justice Louis Brandeis dissented in a case long time ago, writing that our founders conferred as a right, as against the government, the right to be let alone, the most comprehensive of rights and the right most valued by civilized men. To protect that, he wrote, every unjustifiable intrusion by the government upon the privacy of the individual, whatever means employed, must be deemed a violation of the Fourth Amendment. Fourth Amendment says that you have the right to be secure in your person and in your property. Everything that has been violated in this horrific program, that where they even go into your brain, your thoughts, your body functions, and not to mention into your house, into your car, and damaging everything you own. So Justice Brandeis, he was the genius that concocted the phrase that sunlight is the best disinfectant. I wish we had judges like that today. So in Katz versus United States, the justices ruled that the Fourth Amendment included an expectation of privacy in the content of one's phone calls. Then in 2018, that was extended to our geolocation information. We have a legitimate private interest. In 2018, the Supreme Court said this. Never mind that the criminals at the Space Force and the CIA never read this case or think it doesn't apply to them. That individuals have a legitimate privacy interest in their geolocation since 2018. So we all know that FISA 702 did away with all our rights, as well as the terrorist screening database that we are fighting tooth and nail. So Rand Paul continued saying, Jack Smith's actions should serve as a stark reminder that Section 702 of the FISA Act, much abused government authority to conduct mass warrantless surveillance, will sunset this upcoming April. I am here to fight for it to not be renewed. You can be assured that the apologists for the surveillance state will use that opportunity to attempt to grab even greater authority to spy on Americans. His Fourth Amendment Restoration and Protection Act is the only way to prevent a future Jack Smith from abusing surveillance power. I'm going to write a mirror on that so that you take it upon yourself to copy and paste and send through the contact form in the official websites to your legislator, just like the Ana Paulina Luna's American Privacy Restoration Act, which intends to repeal the highly grossly illegal unconstitutional Patriot Act. So Rand Paul's bill would require the government to obtain an order from Article 3 courts, not from the FISA court, to surveil citizens and prohibit agents from conducting queries. That is, electronic searches of communications collected by government spies on Americans. So what's an Article 3 court? An Article 3 court, the FBI criminal has to go before the judge and state under oath that he has probable cause, forget reasonable suspicion, which is a lower standard, probable cause to spy on your phone and emails and all of that. Okay? The FISA Section 702 waived that for them, so they don't have to put their neck on the line. And then not only that, when you get an Article 3 court warrant, after they carry it out, you have a right for that to see it and to be given an inventory of everything they took from you. That's what I'm trying to get through the prohibited access files that the criminals at the FBI signed applications lying to the FISA court. There is no stenographer in the FISA court. So those proceedings don't even get recorded. And then you have judges like Boasberg signing documents saying that nobody can be told of the surveillance that is being done to them. A recipe for disaster. But the papers have to be there. They have to be there the 10 times, the 20 times they have renewed a FISA warrant on you by the FBI criminals, knowing, like that mouse that I showed in the beginning, smoking the cigarette, knowing that there's nothing to see here. I can't wait for that. Okay, so Rand Paul went on to state in his article, now that some of these same people have been ensnared in Jack Smith illegal surveillance, maybe, just maybe, they will trade in the nothing to fear doctrine and instead adopt the time-tested, deservedly honored tradition that all Americans are presumed innocent until proven guilty, which is in our Constitution, an interpretation of our Constitution. Now, we have the problem called the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. He was the vote that decided the passing. If it hadn't been for Mike Johnson, it wouldn't have passed. He was the deciding vote. So those of you constituents of Mike Johnson, I really hope you flood his inbox. So in this context, they last week, you remember I told you that they had in the funding bill, they had put a provision putting a value of $500,000 to each violation of illegal surveillance done on the senators, that the senators could recover. And I was elated because I said, there you have it. They put a price tag on each incident. Can you imagine how many incidents 24/7 of illegal surveillance they have been perpetrating against you? So if they left that 500,000 there, it was set on stone. So now the next day they realized, oh my God, what did we do? There's a lot of illegal surveillance that is being carried out against innocent Americans. No, we don't want it. We don't want it. It's okay. You can keep the money. Don't matter. They already valued it for the purposes of what constitutes a reasonable compensation for illegal surveillance. Of course, you have to pay for it. I mean, you have to prove it. You have to prove your case. And they're not going to be the only ones paying for it, because there's too many other minions along the way that will be responsible, particularly in the private context. So I personally delivered a letter to Rand Paul's office. I sent an email. They have not replied to me. I personally went there. They have not replied to me. I have no doubt that the government criminals are telling him I'm a terrorist and I'm a criminal, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to show up every day. Analog Anna is going. I'm going there tomorrow, and I'm going to continue going until I bump into him, because, believe it or not, they're walking around, like the Disney creatures, like Mickey Mouse. Like sometimes you're in Disney World and you see Goofy and Mickey Mouse. Well, you see them. I went into the bathroom and guess what? There was Maxine Waters. If she had been somebody like Ana Paulina, I would have been elated because I would have been like, but no, it was Maxine Waters, and I just felt pity for her, so I just kept on going. Anyways, so next topic here. MK Ultra is going mainstream, and this is really good news because people are no longer afraid of talking about the fact that MK Ultra never ended. And there's this awesome guy. He's also from Kentucky. We have Thomas Massie, Rand Paul, and Tim Burchett. And he is saying that Thomas Crooks that tried to kill President Trump was groomed by CIA and MK Ultra style mind control programs for the sole purpose of taking out President Bush President Trump. I'm sorry. Oh my God, Trump. I'm sorry. How could I call you that? That's the criminals thing. I'm really. Many of you should know that I'm really struggling because they're really hitting me to lose my train of thought. But no, it's not happening, Colonels. Okay, so for the purpose of taking out Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania. So he says that Donald Trump's would-be assassin was programmed by the government to kill the then presidential candidate. But all evidence of the conspiracy no longer exists, according to him, because he said he was skeptical that top secret CIA operations like the discredited MK Ultra program would allow for the information to be there. They destroyed it. Let me show you this really good video of him explaining it to Benny Johnson. Let me just show you this. He rocks.
And then they got sued and they said, oh, it exists, but we don't use it anymore.
Hold on. I needed to start it from the beginning. There you go.
MK Ultra.
I'm going to toss to you. That's right. Yep.
They got sued. They said it didn't exist. And then they got sued and they said, oh, it exists, but we don't use it anymore. So I don't believe them as far as I can throw the dome off the dadgum Capitol, Benny. You got a kid who's got access to guns or has some simple knowledge of a firearm. He was programmed. You're exactly right. They programmed this kid, and Kristi Noem and Cash and Bongino and the rest are reporting the facts as they know them. The facts have been buried or burned, or whoever knew is either sitting on a beach somewhere and enjoying a fruity drink, or they're dead. I would suggest.
There you have it. So this is obviously another person that I haven't written to him yet, but I'm going to be doing it. And so the FBI criminals are hiding, just like they're hiding the information of the pipe bomber. Because like Mr. Phil Kennedy, who is a whistleblower, opines, he thinks that, let me show you what he says. He says that they would be left without any employees. He says the FBI is desperate to keep, that was crooks, but I'm also including the J6 and crooks in mysteries buried, because solving it would expose the entire insurrection was a mass entrapment operation. It would completely prove the targeted individual program. They did surveillance on these people. They entrapped them into a fake crimes. They put them in jail. And some of them we know have V2K. They are constantly gang stalked. They have been thrown into poverty, their assets taken away from them. They cannot find a job, not even flipping burgers in McDonald's. It's the quintessential pattern, and they did it to punish anybody who supported Donald J. Trump in order to dissuade any people that wanted to publicly support him. Now, what's really interesting is that Tucker Carlson also is sounding the alarm on the false narrative that the FBI is putting out there. Okay, it's just the dots don't connect, and Candace Owens is doing the same with the Charlie Kirk murder. I urge you to follow Candace Owens, because she is doing the same. She's connecting the dots that the FBI doesn't want you to connect. Listen to Tucker here.
There is no doubt that Crooks was ripe for recruitment by someone. From early 2019 to mid-2020, as his political views were evolving, Crooks searched for Trump more than 700 times online. He also searched for Jack Ruby, the man who assassinated Lee Harvey Oswald. He then submitted queries for craziest chemical reactions, cars running over protesters, best places for mass shooting El Paso, Trump Civil War, Orlando shooting reaction, firing an AR-15 as fast as possible, fertilizer bomb, how to make napalm, how to make a Molotov cocktail, mass shooting Canada, Oklahoma bombing, and sniper in Dallas shooting. He also searched for American Nazi Party, German national anthem 1933-1945, Hitler's speeches with subtitles, neo-Nazis, and, quote, why gays need to go. So here you have a volatile, troubled, possibly mentally ill young man with a long record of espousing violence in public. The FBI clearly knew he existed. And then you have, at the very end of his years commenting in public, espousing violence, an exchange with a mysterious figure affiliated with a group that we know is being monitored by the U.S. State Department.
There you have it. So Tucker and, you know, we have the following. We have Tucker, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, Steve Baker from The Blaze. They're doing the police work and investigative work that the FBI is supposed to be doing. And they don't do it because they're so crooked in there, because more than half of the agency is made of government criminals, deep state government criminals that are sabotaging the work that Patel wants to carry it out, which is shut down the deep state. So there you have it. How can you, if that's the team that you have, how can you carry out what you want to do? Now, let's go for this one. Somebody has got to tell him, I really want to meet with Mr. Fetterman. Let me show you this. He's clearly a targeted individual. Fetterman fell flat on his face. He was hospitalized. And look in there, the stitches he has on his face. And he stunned Morning Joe. This is here. Listen here. What happened is he went to Morning Joe on MSNBC and he demolished the bias of the hosts. Their bias blame of Republicans for a slew of topics, including the government shutdown and the recent release of certain Epstein emails. He said, many Democrats think that it's smart to plunge us into that kind of chaos, but I refuse to do those things. Regarding the Epstein files, he said, we sat on those for 4 years too. Guess what? The next morning, he fell flat on his face. And I'm going to tell you something. I have fallen like 15 times, but because of the glory of God, nothing has happened to me. I fell on my hip. I fell flat on my face. I could have the stitches he has on his face, but God put an invisible cushion there that nothing happened to me. Because they do this with neurostrikes. You lose your balance and you don't even know how you fell. And that is one of the ways that a lot of people are falling around and they're like, I don't know how I fell. Well, hint, hint, it could be that you're targeted. Okay. So this is obviously one person that he is level-headed, and I think that he became targeted for not going along with the current of the deep state. And yesterday I did the same. And you have no idea. These are 4 buildings, hundreds of elevators, like literally hundreds. And I was in many floors, and I was walking around and I was almost ready to leave. And this elevator door, this is the glory goes to God. The elevator door opens, and lo and behold, in there was somebody that I'm not going to say his name because I know the criminals already called him to tell him that I'm a terrorist and a criminal. But in there is one of the persons that the entire community has followed for a long time. And I just went, and he was so kind as to listen to me. And more things are going to happen. But one of the revealing things that happened is the following. He said, I need receipts. I need evidence that, in fact, civilians have been diagnosed with Savannah syndrome. I showed him Dr. Len Baer's civilian registry, and he devoured it. He read it like he's a fast reader. He devoured it and he read it thoroughly. And so he wants to see the evidence that, in fact, there are civilians diagnosed with Savannah syndrome I know that Dr. Lambert is going to do a second version of the civilian registry report in January. So please, this is our moment. You don't understand how important this is for our community, because the intelligence community has repeatedly denied civilian cases, so much so that they prohibited Michael Hoffer from continuing to diagnose Havana syndrome in civilians. And the government doesn't let him talk. So I am telling you, this is your moment if you want an opportunity to become a warrior and to stop this criminal abuse. Get in touch with civilian registry at protonmail.com. If you have not been diagnosed, please don't bother, because we only need people that have a diagnosis so that we can bring the receipts confidentially to senators and representatives that need to know, because the CIA criminals have been hiding it from them, and many others. Because let me tell you, I sent the civilian registry to over 20 congresspeople and senators. It cost us a lot of money to send all of that priority mail with tracking. And guess what? It didn't get to any of them, because there are criminals working inside these mailrooms or inside these buildings that did not let them receive it. So after I left his office, I got a neurostrike and I had to hold onto a wall. And then I said to myself, Ana is working. She's doing the right thing. And instead of becoming worried, I just became happy. So, because I know they're going to run scared, I'm going to make them run scared. So, we're also going to meet with the NIH and the CDC. I'm going to go with some of the TIs in DC, and we are going to, demand that the civilian cases, not only physicians be given guidance, but the civilian cases be recognized as happening in this nation, which in my opinion is a silent epidemic, as for those of you that follow me. Now, the time is now to stand up for what's right. Do not be afraid of these criminals. They're cowards behind a keyboard. And if God has brought us all the way here, it hasn't been in vain. It's up to us we are now on mile 24 of the marathon. It's up to us to get to the finish line, and I'm counting on each and every one of you. If you're not a digital warrior, please become one. Enter our digital warrior community and help us fight censorship. We are so demoted, we are so censored. And I have to give a shout out to Armando, because if it hadn't been for him, I'd be so pummeled here. I am pummeled, but his Silent Night and his Sabbath have made a huge, huge difference for me. And so I feel blessed. I really feel blessed to be carrying out this work. And for those of you that have donated to this, to make a reality what I am doing, I thank you. Next Monday, I'm going to be sending you an email with a Zoom link for those of you that want to join me on Monday at 8 p.m. I'm going to do a Thanksgiving Zoom meeting with those people that have so generously donated. It doesn't matter small or large. It's the intention of that you putting your heart into something that you believe in, and that you believe in me. And that is priceless, because that is the fuel that gets me going. So please, if you can spare, do the financial support. I am halfway through my goal for 6 months, and I don't, after that, I'm living one day at a time. After that, we'll see. We'll make an inventory of for how much longer do we need to maintain this campaign, or if I only can promise you this much. I'm not leaving this city until the weapons are shut down. And that is my promise. So I hope that you support me financially. I'm not deriving an income, that you support me financially so that I can stay here as long as it takes to shut down these weapons. I am giving all my time. I work 10, 15 hours a day, but I got used to doing that and not going out. And something that is bad at one time, then it becomes a good thing. When the governor of Puerto Rico locked us down for more than 9 months, she is now indicted and facing sentencing in federal court for other crimes. Well, we were literally locked in our homes. Criminals were running around, and the decent people were inside our homes for 9 months. And what I did during those 9 months was to research and work and research and write. And that prepared me for this. I work 7 days a week, and I am honored and I am proud to be doing it, because I know that we are going to succeed in our mission. The moment is now. The universe has conspired to put everything in place. Even something that seems insignificant, but it's not, the safety that President Trump put the Coast Guard people, not Coast Guard, the military people, what do you call them? Well, the National Guard. It's safe for me to walk around now. I don't have to feel afraid. See, everything is a synergy. It's serendipity. So, but it all comes from the blessing of God that wants me here doing this work for all of you. And for myself too, because I really want to be free too. And I'm not leaving until I attain freedom for everybody. So thank you. And I hope to see you. So you go, it's givesandgo.com/Toledo. I hope to see you next week. And for those of you that have contributed to this mission, I will be sending you by email a Zoom link, in case you want to join me Monday night. Okay. Thank you. Sorry I extended so much, but I thought there was a lot of stuff that I wanted to share with you. Thank you so much for being here. See you next week.